Hey everybody, it's Head and Shoulders ATR, and today is Track Talk Radio number 2. It's only fitting that we talk about Christian Coleman, the first one that was talking about Christian Coleman too. And I promise this isn't the only person that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about other people, just a lot of things that went through. And so anyway, I saw the 60-meter indoor Nationals, Christian Coleman. He was slightly pulling away from the rest of the field. So this is very interesting. I don't see anybody giving him any trouble, barring injury or a false start. I can't see him losing at Worlds. I just can't see it. I cannot fathom it. I mean, I guess he could have jet lag or something like that, or be spooked, don't get enough sleep, and then he's too fatigued or something like that. But barring injury or false start, he's the champion. So today we're going to talk about something else. Now, I've looked over Lamont Jacobs' races, and I really think that he should. I guess he doesn't fully strive for his height all the way, but you could say the same thing for Michael Johnson. Like, looking at them for the height, they don't really have the complete cycle turnover, right? But Michael Johnson was a world record holder in the 200 and the 400. So, I mean, hey, can you argue against it? But looking at both of them, and even what I said on the last video, and I'll post it up, I promise, at the end of this video, or right here in the upper right hand corner, you're going to see that video about the first one. I spoke about Christian Coleman having the confidence, and in that interview of his return, it's called The Return on his channel, I don't see him having trouble with anybody else. Not at all. His first race was a little bit janky, where he seemed to be, dying out. But every race that he runs, he gets better and better and better and better. He's running, and I'm like, the fact that his first race he ran, and he winded up winning, even if it was a slight loss, but he winded up winning with that form that was breaking down toward the end. Well, I feel bad for everybody else out there. This is his race to lose. This is his championship to lose, as far as him defending himself this year in the 100. And here's my evidence too. Lamont Jacobs, I think he'll have a pretty decent finish, I guess. I can't see Bromell. To me, he doesn't have the mindset. In all respect to these athletes right here, he doesn't have the mindset. He doesn't come off as that warrior class guy. Coleman kind of reminds me of that warrior class guy, right? He comes out to the track, he's about to chomp, eat you up. He's about to eat you up. That's how he does it. He doesn't have the celebration before the race or the party and everything like a Usain Bolt. So he's not like that type of style at all. He's kind of going in line with the traditional USA. When they send out somebody, they're more or less pretty serious before the race starts. He give you a couple of smiles here and there, but they're kind of serious. You see Tyson Gay did it. Gatlin did it. Maurice Green coming out there. Maurice Green come out there and chomp the people up. This is what that is kind of reminding me of when you're looking at a Coleman. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong here, but who's about to match his start? That's one. The fact that he's pulling away in the 60 before the end. Now, to be fair to Bracy here, and I told y'all last year, a lot of y'all here were trash talking Bracy, saying his times weren't real. And he did his PR a second time later in the season. I told y'all about Bracy before. And I said, yeah, he's looking decent. Now, he's got to get his timing right so that he can make a team, right? And he's got to get his timing right. But I really take a liking to Bracy. Now, the thing is here, he flinched. And I guess with the technology, there's been several people flinching, like in the women's side, but I'll leave that later. On the women's side, they had a flinch as well, and they kind of just ruined some races. But on the men's side, Bracy flinched. And he was basically back, right? He was back. And I guess the technology didn't count it as a false start or anything, because the pressure, I guess, didn't change. But you could clearly see the flinch visually before the start of the race. And I think that hurt him. But what's telling here is that even though he started at a disadvantage, he really didn't close on Coleman at all. It was a slight gap that was formed. It was a slight pull away toward the end of it. Now, maybe his race got thrown off a little bit. Maybe some other things were happening in his head where it's just like, okay, I gotta really, he went into panic mode or something like that. Well, whatever the case was, Coleman was pulling away, and this is a bad sign. Because if you thought his fitness wasn't there, obviously we don't have 100 for him yet. But if you thought his fitness wasn't there, the fact that he could do this leading up to a 60, even if he can only go through to about 80 meters, if he's so far in front of the rest of the field at 80 meters, 75 to 80 meters or so, I can't even see people reeling him back in. I mean, this is looking like his old self. Of course, a little bit slower than where he was before. I don't think he's going to be back at that speed, a world record speed, by the time the championships come around, or even later in the season. He could get back to that world record indoor speed. Obviously, he should be peaking later, so his 60 should be faster at that time. But yeah, I don't see anybody challenging him at all. Not from a DeGrasse, not from a Jacobs, not from a Kerley. So I don't see anybody. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comment section below, because like I said, here's my final thought on it. If Coleman is able to pull away in a 60, then just imagine what damage he's going to do, knowing that you got another 40 meters in the race. Maybe he only keeps accelerating up a few more meters after that. Maybe he's going to keep pulling away until about 75. But the fact that he can do that in a 60-meter race, sure, we can all argue the other side. They're not peaked yet. I can hear it in the comment section below, or for the people that are maybe don't like Coleman personally or something. I'm looking at this just mathematically and statistically here. Just cold, hard facts. He's not even peaked yet. He's not peaking yet. I can't see him being like, yeah, I'm going to peak here so I can get a psychological game on the rest of the field. Yeah, winning psychologically defeats everybody else, but I can't see it. And getting back to Bromell, because I didn't finish that thought, is that Bromell, and I think I'm going to do a separate video on him, but Bromell, I don't know if he's a good mascot for, the face of track and field, particularly in the U.S. in the short sprints, because he seems to be too jolly for losing. And as an athlete, you got to be able to hype yourself up. He's come back from injury. Oh my goodness. He's come back from injury, right? So I got all respect for him. And he's worked his butt off to get where he is. So there's nothing handed to him. And he was doing really well before his injury and everything like that. But the part that I'm not liking is that, I mean, he lost earlier this year, and he was like, well, he was laughing. I guess that was attention that was let off. He's not taking it as seriously. That tells me something right there. He's not taking it as serious. In his head, he's like, okay, I know I'm going to lose against my competitor. Already right there, I wouldn't want that to be the face. Because I'm like, hey, I don't want somebody to look as a competitor internationally or whoever saying, hey, I can beat this guy. When he thinks I can be better than him, I can beat this guy. That's what that comes off as. You guys tell me if you guys think differently. But when I saw that action when he lost against Coleman earlier this year, and then he just kind of laughed immediately after, and he in an interview that he gave, and he was just like, yeah, it's whatever. It's kind of like when Lyles was trying to justify through the rounds in the 200 at USA Trials. Well, I didn't. No, you got to win, man. You got to win. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you've done in the past. That means something's going wrong now. And then he admitted it, that something was going wrong when it came down to the final, and he finally came through and he made the team and won. He said, yeah, I just had to let go of the pressure. I had to just do what I needed to do. Exactly. But that type of mindset showed the chinks in his armor. He should be well and above being able to beat anybody else in the 200. And what happened at the Olympics? He got himself in the inside lane, had to work real hard on that curve, a little bit harder than he normally would. And he worked, he put in the work, and then Lyles did not wasn't able to finish. So we see this similar thing that's happening with Bromell. Now, Lyles, I think overall, his mindset is really good. But when he couldn't face up to losing, I think it's better for an athlete to just come out and say, look, I had a plan. It didn't work out that way. But you know what? Hey, we'll meet up again. And maybe the next time, you could throw in a maybe. Or the next time, I hope that I'm the one that wins. Or I'm going to be the one that wins. You could say hope, maybe. Or you could just say a definitive, I'm the one that wins. And I come away with the title. Or something like that. That's what I would expect somebody to come through. And you do see athletes that come in and they do say, hey, I didn't expect this to go to race plane. But no, definitely not when it comes to a Bromell. And like I said, all respect to all these athletes here. There's nobody here that I would personally take a jab at. Now, I'll joke around with some of the athletes if they start trash talking and then they don't, follow through with that trash talking like a certain someone that everybody thinks I actually hate, but I don't. Like I said, if you trash talk, you got to deliver. And if not, you're going to get roasted. And so, I mean, that's just comes with the territory. This is an partial entertainment, which you're on this channel for. So it's going to be entertainment and it's to be lighthearted unless they do, do something just completely just off the wall. Then we probably got to do a different thing here. But what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with that? Or do you see something differently? Because right now, nobody, and I'm calling it now. I called it earlier in the season. I said I needed to see one more race. I just saw more than that. I seen more than enough. And now I say right here on March 2nd, 2022, that unless something else changes, Christian Coleman is going to win the 100 World Championships in Eugene. That's just what's going to happen. Catch you all on the next Track Talk Radio. Peace.